Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. The new House Republican MAGA caucus is making it clear where its priorities lie. They just passed one of their first big substantive pieces of legislation that they're billing as an end to the overly restrictive COVID precautions. If you look at the details, you'll find that the Freedom for Healthcare Workers Act, which would repeal the current requirement that healthcare workers be vaccinated against COVID, that applies to all Medicare and Medicaid certified facilities in the country. That covers 10 million employees. Many of those people are working in high-risk situations with vulnerable high-risk patients. Keep in mind, vaccination is the lowest hanging fruit we have for combating needless illness and death from the pandemic. It is safe, easy, and effective, and we could and should be doing much more of it. Just look at American nursing homes, where only half of residents are up to date with their COVID vaccines. That leaves a lot of people vulnerable to getting sick or even dying for no reason. As of June of last year, over 1/5 of all COVID deaths in this country have been in a long-term care facility. Now, this is just the beginning from Republicans of what promises to be a party-wide crusade against the vaccines. Make no mistake about it. That's what this will be and is. If you look at the other main focus of right-wing politics right now, the burgeoning Republican presidential primary campaign, it's clear that it is going to be an absolute race to the bottom on this issue. Frontrunners, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who may or may not even run, and ex-President Donald Trump, are already trying to out-anti-vax each other. Now, earlier in the pandemic, DeSantis got vaccinated himself and publicly urged his constituents to do the same.
My message is the vaccines protect you, get vaccinated, and then live your life as if you're protected. You don't have to chafe under restrictions infinitum. And so I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get a little bit more uptake.
When DeSantis sensed that the right-wing base was turning against the vaccine, he quickly began riding that wave, spreading conspiracy theories.
You have the mass introduction of mRNA vaccines in 2021. And you would think that there would be a reduction in excess mortality, and there just wasn't.
We are going to work to hold these manufacturers accountable for this mRNA because they said there was no side effects, and we know that there have been a lot.
Almost every study now has said with these new boosters, you're more likely to get infected with the bivalent booster.
That's not true when you control for who has the booster. The first thing he said about excess mortality is true, but that's because of Omicron. That's because people were going about living their lives as if they're protected, as Ron DeSantis instructed everyone, and the vaccine ran rampant that winter. Now, DeSantis making this turn that you see him making, and it's constant day after day, that has left Donald Trump exposed. And Trump, of course, also, obviously, initially supported the vaccines. In fact, one of the grimmest ironies of our time, and there are many, is that probably the one single genuine substantive accomplishment of Donald Trump's presidency was Operation Warp Speed, which did help produce the COVID vaccines in record time. And these vaccines have saved millions of lives. According to one study, they prevented over 3 million deaths just in the United States. But Donald Trump has to get on DeSantis' level if he wants to have a fighting chance in a Republican primary. According to new reporting from the New York Times, he's doing that in part by, get this, building a file of opposition research on DeSantis from when he was pro-vax. The file, quote, consists of videos of him praising the vaccine in its early days. A Trump ally involved in the effort said the footage included DeSantis taking delivery of some of the first vaccines in America and news B-roll of DeSantis presiding over vaccinations of elderly people. To emphasize the point, the Trump ally texted several photographs of DeSantis standing over a woman getting vaccinated, adding, quote, he personally wheeled her to get jabbed, sending another photograph of DeSantis pushing an older woman in her wheelchair. Okay, let's just take a step back. Think about this for a minute. It's both dangerous and surreal, right? The twice impeached, disgraced ex-president, whose management of the pandemic was generally a disaster, is compiling evidence against his chief potential rival for the Republican nomination, showing that he endorsed the most obvious basic public health measure against COVID. And the reason he's doing this is because he's worried that advocating for vaccines has become a brutal weakness among the American right. And he's probably right, and it's truly nuts. The primary race hasn't even begun yet. This is how it's opening. As we lose, let's be clear, about 500 people a day to COVID. It's the third leading cause of death in the U.S. for the third year in a row. Just think about how bad it's going to get. How many excess deaths can they manage to rack up? Think about how bad it's going to get on the policy side of things, okay? Not just the rhetoric. Ron DeSantis is the sitting governor of Florida, where he can actually enact these ideas. He's already working on a plan to permanently ban vaccine and mask mandates. Yeah, vaccine mandates. Who would want that, right? Why would you want to mandate vaccines, right, America's school children? And House Republicans are reportedly lining up a plan to, and I quote here, gut funding for, wait for it, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention as part of their proposed budget cuts amid the debt ceiling fight. Why am I laughing? Well, I just don't know what to say. We are coming out of, last I checked, the worst pandemic in 100 years that's killed over 1.1 million Americans, sickened millions more, nearly 500 more are still dying each day. And we've had it. We had the catastrophe, right? We went through it. We've gone through it. We're going through it. And sometimes you think like, well, you know, they say that now, but when reality hits, they'll change their tune. But it's the opposite. It's worse than that. It's not that the reality hit and they're changing their tune. Politicians on the American right are getting worse over time on the question of pandemic preparedness and basic public health. We are now less protected and less prepared for the next pandemic because of it.